you got big blue eyes, so I ask you why. Have you dyed your hair chartreuse? Chartreuse, 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 chartreuse.
Good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of What's So Funny, the show that talks about the funny with the people who make it happen. Our guest this week is entertainer extraordinaire all the way from New York City. It's Lady Rizo. And of course, we have your host, the regular, Guy McPherson.
All the way from Southeast Vancouver, Guy McPherson. Yeah, Sam, you're a little off tonight.
What do you mean?
What's wrong?
What?
Is it because we're sharing the room?
It's odd, yeah. I'm not even wearing pants. I don't know what's happening.
Yes, Lady Rizo or Lady Rizo.
Yeah, that's
Is it Rizo?
Well, the name is from, I married a beautiful Colombian man, and he pronounced it Rizo, and it always felt like it tripped people up, and I was like, it's Rizo. And then when the divorce happened, I was like, do I need to correct people? Not so much, but so technically it's Rizo, but, you know, I like it. People love to say Rizzo, so I let them.
Let's say it.
And I'm going to call you Guy McPherson.
You may. You may.
Gross.
Guy. You know, well, I have French heritage.
Do you?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
And Scottish?
And Scottish, apparently, yeah. That's legal now.
I'm Scottish as well.
Oh.
I'm Jewish and Scottish, so I'm very frugal.
Very.
McFrugal. Yeah, half Jew, half Scot.
You said Scootish.
Scootish.
You're Scootish. Lady Rizo, otherwise known as your birth name, Amelia Zirin-Brown.
That's correct.
That's quite a mouthful.
I know. There's a lot of consonants.
So you started your career as Amelia Zirin-Brown.
Yeah, I started my life as Amelia Zirin-Brown.
Yes, exactly.
AZB?
Yeah.
It's pretty badass.
What's your name again?
Sam.
So my initials are a pattern. Can you figure out what the next letter in that pattern is?
Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got math in your brain.
I do.
He does.
I'm an economist.
He's a smart guy.
Yeah.
So AZB, those are my initials.
So we say AZB.
Yeah.
Sam?
I know.
Well, when someone is not from Rome.
Okay.
He's respecting me and my culture.
Yes.
Thank you.
And my
right.
dominant culture that takes over the world. Sorry, guys.
So,
I keep on saying, like, in my country, and then Canadians have, like, when you're in our country, and they're like, you're in Canada now. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot. It's a different country.
Yeah, so Amelia, you, as Amelia Zirin-Brown, as a performer named Amelia Zirin-Brown, and you've recorded under that name.
Yeah.
And now that's just kaput. That's goodbye. That's like another...
I don't know.
Another lifetime.
It's confusing. Names are confusing. Alter egos are confusing. I am lying awake, honestly, in bed at night thinking about my name because I started out as Lady Rizo
Speaking of narcissists.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. Listen, I make money out of being a narcissist. So.
Okay, that's fair enough.
And so I started out in 2004, and as Lady Rizo, and I gave myself that nom de stage because I was producing and hosting a burlesque show of amazing dancers in New York City, and we were making weird and wonderful, it was Lady Rizo and the Assets, and it was highlighting everybody's ass because everybody's got a butt, and so it was boys and girls, and it was fantastic and weird and shoestring, and we got an immediate fan base, and it's kind of what I catapulted my whole career off of. And I didn't actually see her in the audience, but rumor is that Lady Gaga, who was at NYU at the time, was coming to our cutting room shows, you know, at the cutting room in New York City, and then became Lady blah blah, you know, when I was Lady blah blah before.
You were.
I was. And, you know, I'm not bitter about it. Maybe I'm a little bit. But I keep on thinking she's going to go away, and then she doesn't. She, like, comes back, like, in a different realm that's closer to my own. And so I keep on thinking, do I have to let go of Lady? Do I have to let go of Lady?
Because now people, it's like a comedian who has a joke that is stolen by a more famous comedian.
Yes.
Everyone thinks, oh, you're the
Exactly.
a thief.
It's hard because, like, especially when I do these shows, like I'm doing right now at Bacio Rosso in Vancouver, people come into the show that aren't just fans of mine. They just want to see the show. And so after the show, they come up to me and they're like, "You're like Lady Gaga." And I'm like, it's not a compliment to me, you know? And some even say, "You're like a Lady Gaga impersonator." And I was like,
oh, no.
It hurts. It smarts. And so I've been thinking, like, my fan base is lovely and cult and strong, and they get what I do. And would they follow along if I changed my name? Because I'm having emotional responses every night to, and I think it's triggered because we look not that dissimilar, and it's Lady something, you know?
2 syllables.
2 syllables. Lady 2 syllables.
How about Lady Amelia Rizo?
I could add more words to the thing, but maybe it should just be Amelia Rizzo, or maybe it should be.
Go just Rizo.
That's what I'm thinking. What do you think about that?
I think that's pretty badass. That's
Right?
like, I am dominant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I am dominant.
There you go. You got it.
Yeah. Are you submissive?
I don't understand any of this.
Why are you avoiding eye contact?
It's not so fun being in the same room, is it?
No.
Any other questions?
Well, only 50 minutes of them.
Yeah. We got a while to go, so.
I can't believe I even outed my, like, because I like to think that the Gaga thing doesn't bother me, like, because I'm a powerful person, and, like, I wholeheartedly believe that I offer something that's different, and I respect what she has, but what I offer is different. She's not funny,
right.
You know, and, but I think just time and time again, it's like the repeated marks that make a scratch that become a cut that then cut down your whole self-esteem.
Well, you should have self-esteem. I was one of those people that went to Bacio Rosso. By the way, that run of shows, which started back in October, November, is coming to an end next Sunday night.
Yeah,
You're only here. So you spent the best part of Canada.
Yeah, I got all the weird snow and the cold nights.
Yeah, Vancouver winter. But it's coming to an end. But so I show up, and I don't know anything about it. I knew Sean Farquhar.
Oh, you knew Sean.
Yeah, and fantastic show. You blew me away.
Thank you.
First you come out, you're a singer.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what the show's about, what's happening. And then you were so damn funny.
Thank you.
And so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an improv artist. Like,
are you?
Well, I consider myself that before I would call myself a stand-up.
Did you have training in...
Yes, I trained at UCB.
Really?
Yeah.
In New York or LA?
In New York. Yeah. I was there only for 2 years, and then I left actually to kind of go into this world of I honestly felt I love the art of improv, and I did improv when I was a teenager. My parents did theater. I had a social teen like action progressive action group that did improv.
What was the name of the group?
Patterns, people acting together to educate by
God.
natural role-playing situations.
Wow.
It just rolls off the tongue.
Wow.
Yeah, it does.
And so we went into schools and did like sketch and improv based on like social, action, education stuff. So I had that history, and then I loved being at UCB, but it was really this was early 2000s, which doesn't feel that far away, but it was really a boys' game. And it was this kind of feeling like it was in charge of nerdy men were in charge of it. Nothing against nerdy men, because there's a couple in the room, but I like them. But it felt like this weird thing of like nerdy men who had been held from power and especially like sexual advantage, who had been given this power all of a sudden and didn't know what to do with it. And it was like this thing where it didn't feel comfortable. It felt like to get on a Herald team, I needed to be a girlfriend of one of the. It didn't feel right.
So you left, but did you learn anything while you were there?
Oh yeah.
Now you don't want to name names, but were the two Matts there?
It was a little past their time.
Okay.
Yeah, but definitely some famous people who have continued on the SNL train made it so I did not want to continue there.
It's a reputation.
Yeah.
Even from here, we know that if you look up UCB. It's
Yeah.
like, oof, gross.
Oh, you know that
Yeah,
about
sure.
the gross? Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Oh, that's amazing. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Also the not paying people, but that's a different matter
yeah,
altogether.
yeah, totally. Well, and also the free shows, which is cool. And I loved Amy Poehler. I loved meeting her, and she was still around and dipping in and out. And I even became friends with people that got on the show, and I went out with them a couple times. And I was like, even the people that get the success, these are not my people, because I think my people are weirder. They're like queerer, and they have more sparkle.
More sparkle.
Actual glitter on their faces.
Like you do right now.
Like I actually do right now.
Yeah. And probably most of the time. Don't you?
It's in my sheets.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, but I learned so much about, just that skills I already knew, but it was great to get like names and ideas for them, and just the understanding patterns in a deeper way, and repetition and callbacks in just this way that was kind of practicing, and also to get validation that I actually was funny. Like I came from classical acting. I went to a conservatory, and I knew I had timing and was funny. But then even when in New York City, when I went there to study with these people, like I knew that I was one of the people that wasn't doing this as a hobby. Like I was, genuinely able to put the laughs in people's faces.
So that's interesting, because I was thinking, are you a comedian first or a singer first? Because your voice is so good.
Thank you.
That must have come first, I thought. The singing.
No, the acting came first, for sure. I was an actress who sang, and then I had kind of and so I would be in plays that had singing. I never felt like I was a musical theater kid. I know it sounds like the way I'm talking, it's like I'm just isolating people into like these little niches and like wanting to put myself in the right group. But, when your work is about collaboration, you want to be in the group that you feel connected to and that makes you happy. And musical theater people didn't feel like my people. And so, yeah, I knew I was a singer, dancer, actress, but I was going to be in straight theater. And so I did Shakespeare, a lot of Shakespeare.
Wow.
And then there was
with glitter?
With glitter. No, I wasn't so obsessed with it then. Then there was a real shift when I started calling myself a singer instead of an actress that sang. My voice got better.
Just a mental shift.
Yeah.
And your voice got better because of that mental shift?
Yeah, and I actually do believe that it's because singing is so closely tied to breath, and breath is so closely tied to confidence. So if we're able to put ourselves in a place where we have the footing to get the kind of breath we need, like you need to have the mind game, of enough footing on the ground to feel like you can take that deep breath, because you are a singer. You're not just someone who sings.
And I would imagine the name change too.
You mean
gives you
alter ego?
The alter ego gives you even more confidence, because you're now not
you,
Amelia.
I completely, and that honestly, the big reason for the alter ego shift is for comedy, though, because I became this character without humility, and so like everything was on purpose, and that is a very rich trove for comedy.
Right,
like, I did that.
Yeah, and you have no filter.
I have no filter. I already had I used to say, I have a broken, when I would insult people, I have a broken door, like from mind to mouth, and it helps me with improv, but not with keeping friends.
Did you lose some friends along the way?
I lost some friends when I became over-identified with my alter ego. Yeah.
And was that just because it was new to you, or do you still over-identify?
No. Some about $7,000 worth of therapy helped me like stop that over-identification. But I think that it was just when I was dealing with some pain in my life, it was like easy to just step into the shoes of a diva, And also when you get like I always say that. Or I don't know if I've ever said it even before now. No, that praise is just as dangerous as criticism, because over-identification with praise or criticism will mess you up.
I didn't mean to praise you earlier. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
honey, no, don't stop the praise. You know, it's people come to me after the show all the time, and they're like, I'm so sorry. I know you hear this all the time, but you're really great. I'm like, I need to hear it all the time. What I do requires so much praise. But no, it's my response to the praise. It's
I
like,
see. Okay.
You can praise me. It's just, I can't take it as like all me, you know. It's also you. It's the room. It's the divine.
We're all one.
Passing. Well, I do believe that, like, we're not all one, perhaps, but there is like a universal thing, and also universal connection to like divine creativity, and we are just vessels. Like that, the word. We got a little messed up when genius meant I'm a genius and not I have genius. I can touch genius.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have genius.
That's how the word used to be used.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's only I think...
He has genius.
Yeah. It's only 20th century and beyond that we say he is a genius.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Read Elizabeth Gilbert. She wrote a little bit about it. She wrote Eat, Pray,
From
Love.
Little House on the Prairie?
No, my God.
That's Melissa.
Melissa. No, Elizabeth Gilbert wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Okay.
But she also... And
I will not read that, but...
Watch her TED Talk about creativity.
Okay. That's like 10 minutes, 15?
You can do a TED Talk, yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
And I will praise you for pronouncing niche.
Oh,
the
thank
correct
you.
way.
Thank you.
Because probably you had to learn that while you were here.
No.
I thought Americans all said niche.
No.
No?
I'm a classy American.
You are very classy. And that, by the way, it is time. Would you mind reading that? The blank there is you.
This is Lady Rizo. You're listening to What's So Funny on KFRO 100.
From the top. Let's go from the top. That's a C, not a K. We're in Canada.
Oh, shit. KFC. RO. Okay. Take two. This is Lady Rizo. You're listening to What's So Funny on Fuck. Okay, once again, take three. I used to do voiceovers. I can do this. Hold on. I'm focusing in. I had a glass of wine. This is Lady Rizo. You're listening to What's So Funny on CFRO 100.5 FM, Vancouver Co-op Radio.
Nailed it.
That's great.
You used to do voiceovers for...
Oh, my God. I for a while I became like a luxury voice, like for like a luxury, like Vogue. I did some Vogue podcasts. I did some lesser paid things, like I was the voice, the complaint line in Peter Cooper Village, Stuyvesant Town, which is a big part of New York. And so I had friends that lived there that were like, get triggered whenever they heard me talk because they felt like they were complaining about the plumbing.
Lady Rizo is a world-class chartreuse and...
Not chartreuse, chanteuse.
What?
Chanteuse.
You got the song off the top.
I know, it's so good.
Chartreuse.
Is that a test?
That was a test.
Why am I playing this for you? It's one of your jokes.
There was a few songs that I was considering. One was the one that we played. One was Cabaret by Liza Minnelli.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Chartreuse is better.
Chartreuse is better. You don't like Cabaret?
No, I do.
But it's just done. Everybody knows it. Yeah.
No.
And the other one was called Hippie Parents.
Ah, I do have hippie parents.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're so cute.
Are they? They're still around?
Yeah, they're still around.
And
they live
still
in Oregon.
hippie?
Still hippie, yeah.
So what do they think of their glam daughter?
Oh, they love... I mean, this is like what they created. They created like...
They created me.
This is my rebellion. Yeah, I rebelled with shoes and glamour. They are super proud of me.
That's
my
great.
dad sometimes, my dad's sometimes not okay with like being an audience member. He wants to be on stage. So
That's where you get it from.
Yeah.
Probably, right?
Totally.
But he was never a performer?
He's a performer.
He was? Oh,
Yeah.
he is. He was.
He still is, yeah.
Well, what kind of performing?
He does theater and he does kind of weird clowning, like vaudevillian kind of clowning bits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he builds weird and wonderful, but like he builds like a fake cannon and a dummy version of him.
Fires himself out?
Fires himself
Super Dave,
out.
right?
Totally. But Super Dave actually fired himself out, didn't he? Or no?
No.
Oh.
It was a comical, like, whatever, copy of himself.
Did he just recently die? R.I.P.
He did, yeah.
R.I.P. Super Dave. What a sweetie.
Einstein.
Bob
Einstein.
Yeah.
Brother of
Albert Einstein.
Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks, yeah. His real name is Albert Einstein.
Oh, my God. Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wait, Super Dave was?
Super Dave is named Bob Einstein.
Related to Albert Brooks, the
His
comedian.
brother, yeah.
His brother, yeah. And Albert Brooks' real name is Albert Einstein.
What?
And you know what? He has genius.
He does.
Yeah.
He
has
does.
comedic genius.
Yeah. Brooks does.
Yes.
Well, they both
Not
did.
Albert Einstein.
No.
I think Super Dave also.
Oh,
did.
yes, both, yeah.
For his time writing in, Smothers Brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did he write for Smothers
Yeah.
Brothers?
Yeah, he did.
Wow, he doesn't seem like he would be that old.
I know. Well,
What an old man. Well, he's not anymore, I guess.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
I'll get
He's
off
up
the air.
in comedy heaven with all his crash helmets.
so your dad was a performer. Your mother, too?
My mom wasn't so much a performer as a director. Yeah, she still directs. And she also created an original works theater camp for kids. So kids getting together, writing their own pieces and performing them.
And were you in that?
Yeah, when she created it, I was 11, so I was already like a counselor in training because it started at 7. But yeah, I was part of that. That's her. I mean, it was really cool, and I also, like, from an early age, believed that anyone has the power to write their own work, and so I think that helped me.
In any discipline?
Well, like that it's not like writing your, like, that all plays have to come from like some established playwright and you perform their work, like that.
Right.
You can be generative artists, and so I kept that, I think, with me. And
Were you a star from that age?
I was always, I'm going to say yeah. I just mainly because I think reaching this ripe, mature age that I am now, I've been thinking lately about like how long people have been telling me that I'm going to be super famous, and I'm not super famous yet, and I've been questioning, like, is that desire for fame just because I'm going to make these people who have given me these prophecies, be right? Or is it something that I really wanted, this, or is it just something that, like, it seems like it's been in my stars, like.
You don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah. Like they had this prophecy. I don't want them to be disappointed.
But in their mind, you already are.
I
mean,
am a
because
success.
you are in maybe not on the lady blah blah
Thank
level.
you for saying blah blah.
But
for the rest of this interview, we could refer to her as blah blah.
But I mean, just think of all the thousands and thousands of people that you've performed to and who've come up to you after and said, "You're great," right?
I know,
and they don't know.
And it's so hard to see. I'm sure for both of you, for Sam and for Guy here in this room, it's hard to look back and see your own success, because if you're an ambitious person, you only see where you want to go, and so it's hard to own, oh my God, I've done all these things, and like, I need to give myself a break. But
Yeah. And let's just tell our listeners some of the things that you've done.
Okay.
You have sung with Yo-Yo Ma.
True.
He's a classical cellist there, Sam.
It's very popular.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
popular. You've sung on an album
Yeah.
that won a Grammy Award.
True. And therefore, because it was an album of duets, I won a Grammy.
Wow. And do you get it? Do you get the Grammy?
Yeah, it's in the Sony studios, but yeah, there is a Grammy with my name on it.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's
The plaque?
fantastic.
Yeah.
You do have the plaque,
Yeah.
and it's in a very prominent place at your.
I usually have it as a necklace, just so I can.
Yes.
And you
That's sweet. That's great.
and you have recorded with Moby.
Yes, Moby I have recorded with, yeah. I'm on a couple of his albums as a backup singer, and then we did one where I'm the main singer too. And then I performed live with him a little bit, which was fun.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we had a fun friendship when in the last years that he was living in New York. We had some fun parties, and
Say no more.
we never had sex, no. No, but it was my job.
You
He would
partied
come
with
to
him.
me and he'd be like, oh, he'll never listen to this, so I can say it.
Ouch.
He'd come to me and he'd say, Meals, And so we would do a show, and then all these groupies, he'd invite all these groupies back to his amazing apartment. And then at a certain night, he'd, I guess, have realized who he wanted to sleep with. And he'd be like, Amelia, Mills, there's all these women in my apartment, and I want them to leave, but I don't want to tell them to leave. Can you say the party's over?
So you were
I was like
the heavy.
Yeah, because he basically wanted to continue with this one woman who he had decided on, and then he wanted like the fun people like me and like the, I guess, lesbians that were around to like then continue on a smaller thing, so then he could, I guess, make the real moves.
This is great. And what kind of gossip do you have like this with Yo-Yo Ma?
Oh my God, I had 2 glasses of wine. I shouldn't. No, Yo-Yo Ma is like a saint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like Buddha, but he's Christian.
Right.
Yo-Yo Christ.
He's like the Asian Jesus.
And you also have recorded with Reggie Watts, who was just in town for the comedy festival, and I saw him at Yuck Yucks last week, I guess it was, and he also performed at the Vogue or the Rio.
Right.
Don't you love him?
Yeah, he's
so
great. First time I saw him was at the Rio Theater here. He wasn't known, and he came out. And after he was done, I just had to stay seated in my chair for a while just to process what I had seen.
Yeah, because it's so weird and wonderful and hilarious. I love that he had this mainstream, it's kind of cult too. Comedians loved him.
Yeah.
Because it's funny and it's so boldly weird. Mm-hmm. But brilliant. And I know him from Seattle from way back when he was the lead singer of this band called Maktub, and I just knew him as an amazing singer. So
he was great in the band, like the straight
he was
musician.
A straight, head of the band, singer, lead singer, and swoon-worthy singer. He's such a beautiful voice, And so it's nice. I definitely consider him among my strange group of singer comedians who are equally musicians as they are. Though he said to me when he's like, I'm moving to New York and I'm becoming a comedian, and I was like, oh really? Just
changing career path.
And I was like, you're crazy. And then he did it.
And you said, you're not funny. Or was he funny off stage? When some people say, I want to be a comedian, and their friends don't get it? How is that possible? And they turn out to be amazing comedians.
Yeah, I know. There was a part of me that just thought, really? You're successful in what you're doing. Why would you, But, that kind of amazing faith. He also is on the tip of every technological advancement before it happens. He's the first one who put me in an Uber. I'd never heard of Uber before, Reggie, and Reggie's like, watch this, and he called a car, and he came and got it, and I was like, what have you done? It was magic. And he was the first one I saw using, Google Maps navigation. He had a silly little fold-up bike that he brought to New York, and he had a strap-on map thing, and he would just ride his bike, and I know it's weird to think it's hard to even think of a time before Google Maps.
How old are you?
I'm 107.
Yeah, it sounds like
I have a really good surgeon. No, what? But in the early 2000s, people had phones, but
yeah, I know
they weren't using every app. We've rapidly advanced to this place that is probably going to ruin our society.
Exactly, and then we immediately forget what it was like before.
Exactly, and we become completely useless without technology. And sometimes I like to even just put away my phone and try to figure out what north, south, and try to get places without using it. Mm-hmm. Because then when you go a place where you have no connection, because I travel all around, you're screwed. You've hobbled yourself.
Yes, you do travel all around. You were in Australia last year. I saw.
Good segue.
Thank you. I'm not professional, but
almost
kind of.
That was good.
I saw you at the Melbourne Comedy Festival, the big gala there. That's
the first time I've ever been headlining, or not headlined, or featured in a comedy festival, and that was also kind of very strange for me because it was all stand-ups around me mainly, some sketch, and I was and it was bizarre because people would come with their arms crossed with this make me laugh posture, and I was like, I'm going to make you feel a lot of things, and laughter is going to be some of it, but it's not going to be the thing.
Not going to be the thing. So do you like to be, I mean, you're at a comedy festival. Do you like to be announced as a singer or comedian? Because as you say, the expectations are completely different. If they're coming to see a singer and you're hilarious, that was great.
I know.
If they're coming to see a comedian, she sang a lot.
I know.
You know?
I know, and I had like a couple of responses like, wow, I'm not sure she was meant to be. But then many people were like, wow, this is a full experience, you know? She made me think, she made me maybe even cry, she made me laugh, and she has a killer voice. So, I mean, do we really need to segregate the art forms that much? I mean, I guess, yeah, it's confusing. I tried to make my set, like, you know, a little bit more focused on the funny, but
it's interesting because you don't sing quote unquote funny songs.
I don't sing funny songs.
But you can make them funny.
Yes. I love to do covers of songs that like expose, like, I don't know if you ever in your research you checked me out like covering Jamie Foxx's Blame It on the Alcohol.
No.
So, like, I sing that song.
I did no research for this show.
Yeah, you did. I sing that song, you know, just kind of, I sing all the words, but I just expose it for, like, the piece of drivel it was. And often I introduce it by saying, like, I won a Grammy, but in case you think that's too impressive, this is also a song that won a Grammy. And it's basically, I don't say this, but I expose it. It's a song about date rape. It's just like...
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's not even filtered. It's just, you know... you want some of the lyrics right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, see, she spilled her drink on me. Now I know she tipsy. She put her body on me. She keeps staring me right in the eye. No telling what I'm gonna do. Baby, I would rather show you what it takes when you get me inside. Blame it on the goose, got you feeling loose. Blame it on the Tron, got you in the zone. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the alcohol. Blame it on the vodka, the Henny. Blame it on the blue cap, got you feeling dizzy. Blame it on the alcohol.
Wow.
Hey. That song's gross.
I know.
That's horrible.
I know.
Oh,
It's another
my God.
baby. It's
There's a line
cold
that says,
outside.
she looked at me and my pants got bigger.
What the fuck? That's great. Like, those kind of lyrics they're classic, though, right?
That part's T-Pain, who does a insert.
Oh, that's...
Which I like to do a spoken word.
Oh, T-Pain.
Grammy-worthy song.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you think of the Baby It's Cold Outside fuss?
I've always kind of felt like it was a weird song, but I love that it's like... I love that culture shifting enough to see that as like, you know, wow, this is inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, but it's our perception of it.
Yeah,
it could
yeah.
mean other things.
No,
but
there was a whole code.
What's
you
in
know?
this drink?
Yeah.
Hey, baby, it's cold outside.
I know. And the thing is that, yes, I know there was a whole code. And the problem is that, you know, with all of, you know, Me Too and consent issues is that women haven't been taught to speak truth of consent, you know? And so and also men haven't been taught how to read it or ask for it. And so it's a duo thing that requires discussion and also I proselytize the art of flirtation, and it's a fearful thing for me that the Me Too movement means the death of flirtation, because I don't really want to live in a world that doesn't have flirtation. I do mass seduction. But I think what we really need to understand and start talking about is that there's a difference between flirtation and we are going to fuck. And there needs to be a break in that, you know? And even if we flirt, like, you could be, you know, an 80-year-old grandma and I could still be flirty. You could be a fire hydrant. You could be a plant. You know what I mean? And, like, then the actual... And that is something about saying, I see you. I like you.
Yeah.
I touch you. And that's okay. And touching you doesn't mean, like, get in my pants.
Right. Although, I mean, you just touched my hand, but it would be different, though, if I touched yours, wouldn't it?
No. Touch me. I don't think so. I think that also is like, it's, You mean because that men have had felt the right?
Right, because often,
propriety.
whether they intend on acting on it or not, that could be the first move. Like, I'm signaling to you something.
Oh, but I think what the issue is that we need to get clearer on the break between all flirtation up to, okay, we're going to kiss, touch each other's genitals, like there needs to be the faith in saying, hey, I want to move further, and also the fearlessness of saying no, and don't feel bad, or I'm okay with even if you feel bad and me saying no, and I think that's really, like, when I think about my younger years, like, there was just so much of a fear of hurting people's feelings that, not allowing myself to, like, speak about what I wanted.
So you could say no and have no ill feelings towards a guy. Hey,
Yeah, I basically, and I wish that I could figure out how to teach this or write a book that's succinct about it. But I think actually it's important that it ties back into your theme, because I think humor is the road in which you deliver truth, so it's not awkward. Mm-hmm. So, and I think that women have been kept from humor for so long, like just basically because, I posted a Jerry Lewis thing today. A thing from his from an early movie where he's with this amazing dancer Shireen North, and then I started reading about, because I felt like there's something weird about Jerry Lewis, I know that, and so I had to read why I felt weird feelings about posting it. Is because he was such a misogynist. He said women are not naturally funny, and so women have been kept from the footing, the grounding, the ability to be considered funny for so long, that I think we've also been kept from a realm of communication, which is delivering truths with humor, lightness, and love and ease. Can I give an example?
Please.
I was on a friend of mine's rooftop, her father's rooftop. He had a hot tub. Some friends of mine got in the hot tub, and also our babies, like 4-year-old kids, So
naked.
Recently. Yeah, naked. Yeah. Naked.
The babies.
Everybody was naked.
Okay.
Because it was just like let's go there, and it's like hippie dad,
Exactly.
like, you do it. And this guy's really great, and he's lovely, and kind of a guy who's obviously had a lot of, a white guy who's had a lot of privilege in his life. And he took out his phone and he started videoing it, because also his grandchild was in the water, but also some of my friends that I had invited over in the area, were women. We're all women, except for him. We're nude too, and I could feel that my friend was really uncomfortable him videoing it.
Yeah, I think that's a little over the line.
Yeah, right. But he had no perception of it. He was just like blinders. And she was like, having this struggle because she saw also the power, the invitation. It was his place. She couldn't find the way to say, please don't do that. And I was okay with him videoing it because, I don't know, I'm okay with nudity. But I saw her struggle, and I thought, oh, my God, I can totally do this and take care of this in a way that's
Speak on her behalf.
In a way that's not going to ruin the vibe. And I just said, hey, I'm not going to say his name, but I'll say his fake name. Hey, Doug, if you take one more video, you really have to pay me. And it's Venmo, and he laughed, and he saw, and all of a sudden he saw that, I was actually saying don't do this, but he laughed. He wasn't uncomfortable. He stopped. You know what I mean? And there's probably some feminists listening to me that are saying, well, why do you have to resort to softening the blow? And it's well, people are human, people are fallible. People get shamed, and then they don't know how to react, and then everybody feels weird. So if we can mix our boundaries and our truth speaking with humor, everybody will feel more okay. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you do that when you're being raped, but sorry to make a rape joke. Hey, Doug.
I love it.
Hey,
Hey, stop.
Doug. Hey, Doug,
No.
you're gonna have to Venmo me if you're gonna break.
No. What? Oh, man. Doug.
Didn't think it would go there, folks.
Sorry. I know. You thought rape jokes were done in the 90s, but
No.
I remember
not
when
at all.
I remember a moment when every punchline, like in the improv scene, had full blown AIDS in it. They just had to say full blown AIDS.
Sure.
They couldn't say AIDS.
Right.
Full blown. There's trends.
Yeah.
There's definitely trends.
Well, Kurt Metzger at the Comedy Fest brought back the rape joke, but it was he disguised it really well by coming around the other way.
What was the joke? Can you remember?
It was all about Jared from Subway going to prison and getting raped in prison. Now that's the good rape. You would say that's the good rape. You know, that's like the justice, the extra justice that you get. He said in the States, but you know, in the world, I guess. So if you stop and think about it, you go, people still joke about that, and that's okay because it's against the bad guy or somebody who's done something.
Where is he saying
wrong.
he gets raped with a Subway? No.
No, he didn't say that. No, he didn't say that. He wouldn't go that far.
Sorry.
It would fall apart. I mean, let's be honest. Right?
Okay, yeah.
It's
The
not,
scientist
it's
is
not like a carrot shoved in a-
economist.
Yeah.
Economist.
Oh, man.
Economist.
Well, Kurt Metzger, interesting guy, right? He had a big blowout with UCB.
Did he?
Yeah, a few years ago about not paying stand-ups on their packed stand-up shows. Oh. So it's, I think, 2012 he came out with it, that UCB put on so many like top-tier stand-up comedy shows, and they weren't paying the performers. So any other club, they were paying the performers.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking like $20-25 or whatever,
Yeah.
you know? But no,
Nothing.
nothing.
Do they now? Do you know?
I think they do now because
Yeah,
they got
because of that.
shamed into it. But,
Right.
yeah.
Way to bring that around.
Yeah.
Improv culture. Don't
Good.
like it. They don't pay.
Good work.
Yeah.
I have to go pee.
Oh.
Can you guys do an ad while I do that?
Yeah.
We don't
how
do
do I-
ads here, but we'll talk.
No, like
Yeah.
you can.
We'll
can
talk
you-
about how you're doing.
Can you read this?
Oh, do I put my name here in the blank? All right. This is Guy McPherson and Sam Tonning, and you're listening to What's So Funny on CFRO 100.5 FM Vancouver Co-op Radio. Our guest this week is the incomparable Lady Rizo.
Yes.
Otherwise known as Amelia Zirin-Brown, who is here performing with Bacio Rosso and has been since October, November, and it finishes its run on March 10th.
How many times have you seen it, Guy?
Once, and I wish I had seen it 3 or 4 or 5 times. Sam, you didn't get to it.
I
but
couldn't this year.
You got one more week.
I'll see what I can do.
But apparently, they're coming back next year, same time frame.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Great.
Different cast.
That's okay.
Yeah. Well, you won't get to see Lady Rizo.
Well, maybe not there, but maybe the next time I go to New York, I will.
Mm-hmm. She's going to be in Chicago in a month, apparently.
Chicago. Wow.
Chicago.
The Windy City.
Apparently. Yeah, that's right. Isn't it, Amelia?
Yeah.
Lady Rizo? Oh, hey, from now on, it's just
Whoa.
Rizo.
Rizzo.
Oh, yeah.
Rizzo.
Rizo.
We've decided it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've decided
It's like Sinbad.
You're going to be here or you're going to be in Chicago in a month, right?
So I'm doing a similar show called, to Bacio Rosso in the form of a Spiegel tent show with food and cirque and comedians and music. It's called Teatro Zanzani, and they were started in Seattle, and then they did a long run in San Francisco, very popular on the Embarcadero, and now they're going to open in Chicago, and I'll open it. But we're first going to do a soft opening right outside of Seattle to make the show great. So that'll be for 2 months in Seattle before Chicago.
Now you have an act on your own. You do your full-on shows, and now you come out to Vancouver for 6 months or however long it was, and you're 5, and part of your solo act is incorporated into Bacio Rosso or
bits that
or
I
in
do.
Chicago and Seattle.
Love swallowing and rose licking.
Yeah, and I guess, do you like that you can travel around the world and be part of these shows with this big cast?
Yeah,
and
it's the first time that I mean, being part of these shows, it's really fun because I feel like I have a regular job in a way. Like I go to the
5
same
nights a
place
week, right?
5 nights a week. I see the same people. Like, it's wonderful to have, and the people in these shows are fantastic. Like these, I mentioned earlier about trying to find my thing. And like, there's something about like circus folk that they're like just weird enough. They know they're like outsiders, but then they're athletes, and it's really inspiring.
Boy, are they ever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And I mean, I love like the ribald, you know, ostentatious, like late night New York cabaret, you know, burlesque world too, because there's a lot more drinking and, you know, late night hooliganery. What time is it? But it's also really inspiring to be around these people who like get up and go to the gym and train and.
Oh, yeah, I don't even think of them. Of course they have to go and train and go to the gym, as well as do the show.
I know. It's amazing.
You just need to apply some glitter.
Did you see me on the duo trapeze? I don't know if you follow.
Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I saw it on Facebook.
Yeah, I went on the, and I really did well, sort of. Ish.
Well, you didn't fall down
for a comedian,
which is good.
Yeah,
but yeah, you were splayed.
Yeah. I mean, I do yoga, so like I'm flexible and I keep that. But like, I just thought I've always kept myself from doing other stuff because I can't even do a pull up. You know, it takes so much work to. Can you do a pull up?
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay, take the fit. All right.
So could you incorporate that in the show?
I maybe could in these shows, yeah. I mean, I don't want to like take away the thunder of the duo trapeze because it's like I'm singing and being funny already. And if I did duo trapeze, everybody would just quit. They'd be like, "What? She showed us up."
Right.
But no, it'd be fun. It'd be fun in Joe DePaul, who's this amazing clown. Do you know him?
Nope.
He's Montreal-based, super funny. We're going to be in this next show together, and I've been wanting to perform with him for a while. I find he's short, he's hilarious, he has great comedic instincts, and he saw that video and he's like, "We're going to do this," and I was like, "Yes." Wait, can he lift me?
Yeah.
You
need somebody
He's Danny
strong.
DeVito size.
Oh, so funny.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So how have you liked your 6 months in Vancouver? Like, did you know anything about it? Had you been here? Because you were in Seattle.
I'm going to be honest
Oregon.
and say that all my opinions of it were incorrect.
What were your opinions?
I thought, I said, I'm going to Vancouver to a bunch of people, and everybody like say, "Oh my God, it's so beautiful." I'm like, yeah, I know the Pacific Northwest. I mean, I know what it looks like, whatever. I mean, how am I going to survive there? And then I got here in late October, and the beauty astounded me. It was unparalleled to, I mean, I grew up on the Pacific Northwest, but it's completely different kind of beauty. The mountains, the maple leaves at the time were just in that, and I don't know if you remember, but it was like, we had an Indian summer in the late part of the fall. And
First Nations.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I don't even know if it's the right Indian.
Is it East Indian? No.
We're going to have to look that up.
Yeah. Native.
No, it is.
It is,
okay.
yeah. Indian summer, yeah. And then somebody grabbed somebody, and I'm like, "What are you, an Indian giver?" And then I was like, did a tomahawk chop. And sorry.
Wait a second. Boy.
I'm actually starting this new thing in before my shows, inspired by my performances in Australia, by acknowledging the land.
They do that all the time here, yeah.
Land that, because in America that never
Unceded.
happens. And it's kind of like a weird thing to do in America. Nobody does it in America because it's in America how we deal with, oppression.
Now they ceded it.
Yeah, exactly. Is they're like, that was a long time ago. We don't talk about that. But I was very inspired by having it be part of all my Australian tour. And it's happening in Canada too, and so, yeah, I'm very, especially because my last big show was all about, it was an apology tour for America, just in the face of Trump, and looking at land, at countries, at borders, at the idea of, like, people hold so close to them these ideas of borders that it's just this imaginary line that is cost so much in blood and tears and lives, and and is still continuing to be this incredibly oppressive force. It's so, to kind of explore that, like what's a nation, like where do we hold our allegiances? What does patriotism mean to you? Like, when's the last time you felt truly patriotic, and where does it land in your body?
Do you feel that Canadians, having lived here for half a year, are less patriotic? Or is it a different kind of patriotism, or do you have no sense?
I feel like the kind of patriotism with a capital P that has hijacked a truer sense of patriotism in America, because conservative thought has associated patriotism with, making sure the majority of our taxes go towards weaponizing our country and towards armed forces, and that this idea of kind of Republican conservative patriotism, I feel like the idea has been taken. So there's a whole other sense of patriotism that is like protecting the actual values of your country, which are, if they are Canadian or American, it's about diversity and about, this kind of democracy, I feel like Canada, people don't really wear their patriotism very loudly.
You see a lot of Canadian flag tattoos.
Yeah. Do you?
Yeah. When the summer hits, it's quite remarkable the number of people who have them on their calves.
Really?
I don't know that I've ever noticed.
Oh, it's so silly.
But I think that the part of it is not wearing it super loudly is a response to America. A lot of
we just have them on our calves.
Yeah, that's
it. It's just on the calves. It's not on your
bicep. It's not on the guns, yeah.
I feel like I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but I feel like there's a lot of Canadian things that the culture kind of is born out of not wanting to seem American.
100%.
Yeah,
we're proud of that.
We're
proud of that. Baby.
We're not American.
Yeah,
high five.
I know.
That's
and
the worst high five ever.
That was very Canadian. But being and I like that, because I feel like I was born from people who were not identifying with being American.
Right, in the commune.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Was it a commune, by the way?
It was. I was conceived on an actual commune where people were living in one big house, and then my parents ended up the only ones paying the mortgage. And so they moved to a kind of communal environment where it was basically a big hippie theater company where they threw all their kids into the center of a pile and then did trust falls around them, like a mime, and social action theater, and so it was really like this kind of dream arts, kind of environment where I do feel like I had a lot of parents, like a lot of people, and I think that is a lot very due to whatever, small grade success I have, is that I had more than just, or early success I had, or feelings about myself. I had more than just my two parents caring about my my future and invested in my future.
Rizo, takes a village.
It does. It takes a village to also be inspired by more than just your parents, and to feel like you have other people who they also not only they were invested in me, but they were invested in my artistic life, and not an artistic life should go in the realms of what America celebrates, go to be in theater so you can be in the movies, or make music so that you can get signed with a big label. It's they were make art.
Right, and this goes back to what you were saying about they were expecting you to be super famous.
Yeah.
And I said, you already are.
I know.
Right?
I know.
It's how super famous do you want to be, rather than just making a career in the arts and entertaining a bunch of people.
I know. And Guy, I the other day I was listening to my collegiate self, because I remember we were circling up and they're like, what are your goals? And I was like, I just want to be a working actor, Right. And I am.
Yeah.
So I was just looking back and then be like, was I lying, or have my goals changed? And I think it's because it continues that it's not only just all those people my whole life. It's like after every show, people are like, they almost ask you like it's your fault. They're like, why aren't you more famous? Why?
Yeah.
Seriously, why? And I don't know how to answer them. Like, I don't know, because I care about life too, because I haven't. I don't know what I've done.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't know what it is, because it's a luck thing. It's like a place-time thing, and like.
But because you're a singer and you're a comedian.
Yeah.
Actor,
Yeah.
actress, what do you say?
Yes. Yeah, both.
You say both? And
Dance.
so do you go out?
Dancer.
And dual trapeze artist?
Yeah.
Do you go out for auditions? Because that would be it, like acting, right?
Yeah.
That's
I
to
think
be
that
the
that's-
most famous.
Yeah, that's something that I have, because this is another conundrum, is that my touring schedule has gotten so packed, and I'm booked out a year in advance.
Right.
Like sometimes people ask me for auditions, and I'm like, I'm booked to play in London that month, and like a couple of Broadway things have come up, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like I'm not going to pull out of a contract for an audition, and I'm not going to lie to you and say that I'm available. It's confusing.
Yeah, and here's something else, another credit. Not too long ago, on your day off, you flew down to L.A.
Yes.
And you performed at this cancer benefit
Yes.
with the actual scientists, and you were there with Mario Cantoni.
Yeah, Mario Cantoni
and
Rufus Wainwright,
Liza Minnelli's sister.
the other Judy Garland's other daughter,
Lorna Luft, yeah. And, Rufus Wainwright,
Yeah.
great Canadian kid.
Yeah, on my day off. And that was great. And also, that was an example. Also, I probably should be following up on that. But the women who were in charge of Stand Up for Cancer, Stand Up to Cancer, it was not a benefit for cancer. Those are less popular. But they're really well populated by these tumors. Because I really killed it in a performance. These power women, like the woman she was the CEO of Paramount Pictures, and I'm forgetting her name, afterwards was like, why don't we know who you are? Really, why don't we know who you are? And like, send me whatever you have. And also somebody else was like,
What does that mean?
I know so someone was like, I know Lorne Michaels, and you're exactly what he wants, so send me whatever you have.
Wow.
But I don't exactly know what that means of send me whatever you have, because it's confusing, because what I have is performing for what my comedy isn't so much about like stand up. It's more like when I'm really good is working off of people when they're in front of me.
Mm-hmm. And incorporating all the theatrical aspects to it. The cabaret.
The cabaret. And like that, my manager, who's a music manager, is like, I don't know if cabaret is the word that's going to sell anymore, because everybody thinks it's dumb. Like they hear cabaret.
Until they
and
actually
like,
go to it.
Exactly. They hear the word cabaret and they're like, I don't think I'm going to like that.
Yeah.
And then.
Hey, I know it is midnight, so we got to get out of here. But before we go, Sam, don't start anything
I'm
yet.
not.
Don't start anything, Sam. You always start everything.
know.
It's hard enough being in the same room with you. I asked specifically to be in another room with you.
Well,
and it's
I messed up the soundboard just so we can be together.
Oh.
We do a segment on this show, and I didn't tell you about it.
What?
So it's
A game show?
No, it's not. It's called New Joke, Old Joke, where I ask our guests, many in the stand-up world, if there is either a street joke that they've always liked, but stand-ups can't tell street jokes when they go on stage.
Oh, like something you hear on the street?
Yeah. Or a joke just from another comic peer or maybe through history that they've always just loved. Oh, that is a great joke. And does anything come to mind for Rizo?
I hope
Lady
I'm not
Rizo.
telling the same one that Colin, because Colin told me this. And he was on this show.
Maybe.
Did he tell the Katharine Hepburn one?
No.
Okay. Katharine Hepburn goes into a sex shop, and she's like, do you sell the 12-inch vibrating dildo? They're like, yes, ma'am, we do. She's like, how do you turn the damn thing off? No? Did I do it right?
I'll have to go back and listen and analyze that one.
Shit.
It's just funny to think of Katharine Hepburn having trouble turning off a dildo.
So she has an insider. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why she talks
I thought
that
she
way.
was just old.
That's why she talks that way.
Maybe I didn't tell her. Do you tell the child by dating? I don't think I will.
Oh, that's good. I found a singing one, and it's an old George Burns line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it was, I love to sing. You know George Burns. Did you ever hear him sing? He used
No.
to sing all the time on Johnny Carson. You guys are too young. I love to sing. I love to drink scotch. Most people would rather hear me drink scotch.
It's a great joke.
Yeah, I liked it. It's
a classic.
Nothing from you?
No.
Okay.
It's a great old joke.
Yeah.
Wait, most people would
George
rather
Burns.
hear you drink scotch.
Drink scotch because he was a bad singer.
Oh, right. No, I got that.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
this
was
like
a-
imagining the sound of it. I was going really deep in
Clink,
meta.
clink, clink.
Really?
Wait, okay. Now I feel like I told Colin's joke. Now let me tell you, like this is a joke I remember from listening to when I was a kid.
Okay, yeah, perfect.
Okay. And I remember telling it before I really understood it. It's not even that sexual or weird. It's just I was raised a Jew, so Jesus is getting into a fight with Joseph. You know this one?
I'm listening. I'm
okay,
visualizing it now, yeah.
Because Jesus is a teenager and he's going out all the time, you know, and Joseph is like, no, man, you gotta stay in. Like, you can't go out. You have to do your homework, whatever, you know. And Jesus, you know, puts on his headphones and he goes to the door and he, like, screams at Joseph, it's not like you're my real dad.
Well, you know, George Burns, you, two great Jewish humorists.
Oh, yeah, right. I know. Like, long. Being a Jew is a long. Wait, was George Burns Jewish? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I don't
very
think
Jewish.
Burns was his last name.
Yeah, I know his real name, but I can't think of it right now. But yeah,
Oh, I love
I
George
think it is, yeah.
Most Jews are funny.
Yeah. In show business or out, right?
Yeah. Well, pain creates humor.
Or very boring.
Yeah, also, or talk about their diseases, you know, or
yeah.
like their doctor's appointment, or the route they took to get there. So
Best
At least,
doctor, though.
yeah, they don't use the apps.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they could
don't
just
take the
show
4i5. I spent so much time on the 4.
Oh, Lady Rizo, Amelia.
I know. I don't even know how
Meals.
to pronounce my name or what name I'm having. I'm having
Meals.
I'm having a crisis, guys. Meals. That's what Moby called me.
I know, yeah,
Yeah.
so we should just call you Meals. But it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for finally doing the show.
Yeah, I know.
1 week to go.
5 more shows. Is Sam going to come?
Maybe.
Yeah, he said that with Kevin Kent. He said that with Colin Heath. He said that with Sean Farquhar.
Can you-
Maybe now that he's been in the same room with you.
I don't feel like I've.
Sold him?
Well, I don't know.
I have to check my schedule this week.
I can usually tell when somebody's bedazzled.
What's coming up on your schedule, Sam?
I went to Sawasan on Friday doing a gig at a Legion.
Nice.
Isn't that a ferry terminal?
Yeah.
It's also a town.
It's
Oh,
a
okay.
town and there's a Legion. And
I was on the dock and.
Thank you, and good night.